Good afternoon everyone. This is my presentation about computer. What is computer and how does computer work? Computer an electronic device for storing and processing data, typically in binary form, according to instructions given to it in a variable program. A device usually electronic that processes data according to a set of instructions. The digital computer stores data in discrete units and performs arithmetical and logical operations at very high speed. A computer is a machine or device that performs processes, calculations, and operations based on instructions provided by a software or hardware program. It has the ability to accept data, process it, and then produce outputs. An electronic machine accepts data, processes it according to instructions, and provides the results as new data. Computer can make simple decisions and comparisons. How does a computer work? Every computer operations can be divided into three stages. The first one is input. Input and enter data and commands. The second one is process. Process the data. And the third one is output. Show the results. History of computer. In 1833 AD, Charles Babbage, an English professor of mathematics, proposed a calculating machine which he called the analytical machine. If developed, it would have punch card input, a memory unit, a unit which would be performed the arithmetic control program, give automatic printout, and accuracy to 20 places of decimals. Evolution of computers. Abacus 3000 BC, Napier-Bones 1617, Pascaline 1642, Leibniz wheel 1685, Mark I 1944, census machine 1889, analytical engine 1833, Hawkwood loom 1804. Abacus 4th century BC. The abacus, a simple counting aid, may have been invented in Babylonia, now is called Iraq, in the 4th century BC. This device allows users to make computations using a system of sliding beads arranged on a rack. Considered the first computer. First computer, abacus. The first computer is abacus. Blaise Pascal, 1623 and 1662. In 1642, the French mathematician and philosopher Blaise Pascal invented a calculating device that would come to be called the adding machine. One of the first and earliest mechanical devices used for calculating was the Pascaline. Originally called a numerical wheel calculator or the Pascaline, Pascal's inventions utilized a train of 8 movable dials or cogs to add sums of up to 8 figures long. As one dial turned 10 notches, or a complete revolution, it mechanically turned the next dial. Pascal's mechanical adding machine automated the process of calculation. Although slow by modern standards, this machine did provide a fair degree of accuracy and speed. Only perform addition, not multiplication or division. Gottfried Wilhelm von Leibniz, the reckoner supposed to be able to add, subtract, multiply, divided, and calculate square roots device never worked properly. Charles Babbage, 1791 to 1871. Born in 1791, Charles Babbage was an English mathematician and professor. In 1822, he persuaded the British government to finance his design to build a machine that would calculate tables for logarithm called the difference engine. The device was to calculate numbers to 20th place and print them at 4 digits per minute. With Charles Babbage's creation of the analytical engine on 1833, computers took the form of a general-purpose machine. 1822, Babbage's difference engine. In 1833, used to perform a variety of calculations by following a set of instructions or programs stored in punch cards. Machine only designed but never built. Joseph Hawkard. In a vivid demonstration of the power of his invention, Joseph Mary Hawkard, using 10,000 punch cards, programmed a loom to wave a portrait of himself in black and white silk above. Charles Babbage, considered the father of computers. First computers programmer, Ada Byron, Countess of Lovelace. U.S. Census, done every 10 years, process done by hand in 19th century. Took 10 years to complete until Herman Hollerith punch card. This is a tabulating machine. Tabulating machine used electricity rather than mechanical gears. Tabulating machine holes representing information to be tabulated were punched in cards. Tabulating machine, the location of each hole represented a specific piece of information, male versus female. Cards inserted into the machine and metal pins used to open and close electrical circuits. If the circuit was closed, a computation was increased by 1. Population count now took only 6 weeks to count 63 million. Tabulating machine company. Internal business machines. International business machine. Howard Aiken, 19th to 1973. Aiken thought he could create a modern and functioning model of Babbage's analytical engine. He succeeded in securing a grant of $1 million for his proposed automatic sequence calculator. The Mark I, for short, from IBM. In 1944, the Mark I was switched on Aiken's colossal machines, spanned 51 feet in length and 8 feet in height. 500 meters of wiring were required to connect each component. According to Howard Aiken, the Mark I did transform Babbage's dream into reality and did succeed in putting IBM's name on the forefront of the computer industry. From 1944 on, modern computers would forever be associated with digital intelligence. Howard Aiken, this is the example of one of the did transforms Babbage's dream into reality. Mark I calculator.
In 19
In 1939 to 1942, the first electronic computer built by John Atanasoff and Clifford Berry. Computer used binary number system of 1 and 0. Binary system is still used today. ENIAC 1946.
electronic vehicle.
ENIAC is the electronic numerical integrator and computer.
It is a machine.
It is a machine that computes and speeds 1,000 times faster than the Mark I was capable of only 2 years earlier. ENIAC using 18
1880s, 18s and 90s.
80s and 90s vacuum tubes. 70,000 resistors and 5 million soldered joints. This massive instrument required the output of a small power station to operate it. ENIAC 1943 to 1946. ENIAC it could do nuclear physics calculations in 2 hours, which it would have taken 100 engineers a year to do by hand. The system's program could be changed by rewiring a panel. Weighed 30 tons and was 1,500 square feet. This is the average area of a 3-bedroom house. This is the wiring of ENIAC. What is program? Program lists of instructions written in a special language that the computer understands. It is the vacuum tubes. In 1930s to 1940s, Alan Turing developed universal machine. He envisioned a computer that could perform different tasks by simply changing a program rather than by changing electronic components. 1945, John von Neumann developed stored programs concept, and that program would be stored in CPU or central processing unit. Transistor 1947. In the laboratories of Bell Telephone, John Bardeen, Walter Brattain, and William Shockley discovered the transfer resistor, later labeled the transistor. The advantage of the transistor is increased reliability, consume 1 to 20 of the electricity of vacuum tubes, were a fraction of the cost. This tiny device had a huge impact on and extensive implication for modern computers. In 1956, the transistor won its creator the Nobel Peace Prize for their invention. This is the picture of example of vacuum tubes of transistor. This is the transistors radio. The first computer bug. Altair. In 1975, Altair, the invention of the transistor, made computers smaller, cheaper, and more reliable. Therefore, the stage was set for the entrance of the computer into the domestic realm. In 1975, the age of personal computers commenced under the leadership of Ed Roberts, the micro-instrumentation and telemetry company, is called MITS, wanted to design a computer kit for the home hobbies. 1970, John Huff. Transistors were replaced by integrated circuits or chips, giving computers tremendous speed to process information at a rate of millions of calculations per second. In 1970, John Huff invented the microprocessor, an entire CPU on a single chip. This allowed for the building of a microcomputer or personal computer. Based on the Intel 8080 processor capable of controlling 64 kilobytes of memory. The MITS Altair, as the invention was later called, was debuted on the cover of the January edition of Popular Electronics magazine, presenting the Altair as an assembled kit kept cost to a minimum. Therefore, the company was able to offer this model for only $395. Supply could not keep up with demand. This is the Altair fax. There is no keyboard and no video display and no storage device. IBM PC, 1981. On August 12, 1981, IBM announced its own personal computer. Using the 16-bit Intel 8088 microprocessor allowed for increased speed and in huge amount of memory. Unlike the Altair that was sold as an assembled computer kits, IBM sold its ready-made machine through retailers and by qualified salespeople. To satisfy consumer appetites and to increase usability, IBM gave prototype IBM PCs to a number of major software companies. For the first time, small companies and individuals who never would have imagined owning a personal computer were now open to the computer world. IBM's major competitors, according to Macintosh, competitors was a company led by Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs. The Apple Computer Inc., the Lisa was the result of their competitive thrust. This system differed from its predecessors in its use of a mouse, then a quite foreign computer instrument in lieu of manually typing commands. However, the outrageous price of the Lisa kept it out of reach for many computer buyers. Apple's brainchild was the Macintosh. Like the Lisa, the Macintosh 2 would make use of graphical user interface. Introduced in January 1984, it was an immediate success. The GUI, or graphical user interface, made the system easy to use. The Apple Macintosh debuts in 1984. It features a simple graphical interface, uses the 8
32-bit
mH and 32-bit Motorola
6000.
68,000 CPU and has a built-in 9-inch screen.
It will cost
It is cost of $2,495.
hard.
Hardware. The different physical parts of a computer consisting of input device, the CPU, the output devices, and the secondary storage together are called the hardware.
In other words,
Computer hardware is the one we can see and touch. The three essential parts of a computer are input unit. In input unit, there has keyboard, mouse, scanner, light pen, joystick, magnetic tape, and magnetic disk. In central processing unit, there has arithmetic and logical unit, control unit, memory, RAM, which is divided into two. It is RAM and ROM. In output unit, there has display monitor, TV video, printer, mag tape, mag disk, paper tape, voice response. Software is the one we cannot see. Software is of two kinds: system software or operating system, and application software or ready-made programs. Capabilities and limitations of computer. Capabilities of computer: perform prescribed mathematical and logical operations at high speed and display the results of these operations. Capabilities: it is self-directing the user. 2. Ability to store and retrieve information. 3. Ability to perform mathematical operations and solve complex formula at high speed and with great precision. And number 4. Ability to perform logic operation. Capabilities of computers: can store and work with large amounts of information. Capabilities of computer: perform prescribed mathematical and logical operations at high speed and display the results of this operation. Defined manner and execute pre-recorded instructions. Can store and work with large amount of information in different areas or other fields. Limitations. What are these limitations? Limitations of computers: it cannot correct and inaccurate data, cannot imitate human emotions, it is subject to breakdown. Limitations: it can do only what is designed or programmed to do. It cannot correct input data. It cannot think and cannot derive meanings from sub-objects. It can only process jobs expressed in a number of steps leading to a precisely defined goal. It cannot completely avoid making errors due to power fluctuations, system malfunctions, and human disorders. Dominate the world. Do you believe that computer will dominate human world? World without computer technology. What it would be without computer?
What we can technology. What we can have without technology.
What will gonna happen
If we don't
if without computer, and technology.
Our world
Our world become magulo. This is world without technology. Thank you so much for your listening.